Okay, this is Ed Doherty again on our Techno CNC project. We just made one car right now. Yeah, we had to put a boundary here, just like this, because it was going to machine around the back, so we put a boundary here so we can hand work that. We got some dimples here so we can hand drill the holes. They should line up. We have a little mismatch. So this was first side. This was second. No, I'm sorry. I went the wrong way around. This is first side left, and second side right. So I can see here we have a slight mismatch. So one pattern not quite lining up with the other. So we're trying to be on center with this pivot point right here. Only to set it up off of this loose piece would not be totally accurate. It would be pretty good, but we can actually take data that we have right now. And I actually measured this step. The difference in this step is about 30 thousandths. 1 millimeter is 39 thousandths. So if I look at it from this side, that means this cut was about almost 1 millimeter too far that way. So when it did this side, that means this pattern didn't line up because of the pivot point wasn't quite on center. So we're going to actually move our coordinate a half a millimeter in this direction. This is the Y coordinate, the center line. And we'll use the same X coordinate because all these blocks are the same length, and we are butting them right up against this. We're putting this right against there. So that'll be our X coordinate. And our Z, we actually moved the tool out a little bit because this was coming very close to this. We extended the tool out 1.25 inches. Now we have plenty of room, and also we have plenty of room to clear the part. So we have the best of both worlds right now. We've also extended this out so it's pretty close to hitting the door, but we have a lot of room in this direction here, so we don't have any issues with some of the tool path might curve around here. We were so close that we could not actually do the curve, and you wouldn't find out until you went to do it and the machine would hit its limit switch. So you got to either reprogram or move the fixture. So we decided just to move the fixture so we wouldn't have issues like that. Alright, so we readjusted the offset, which was in setup. We wrote down our original numbers. We were at 103.5 millimeters, 103.0, so we moved it in the positive direction, so 103.5. You know, Y0 being this position, and these are all positive numbers in that direction. So we're shifting it by that. We're keeping the 5.19. This is our new setup. When we use this tool and extended it to the correct length, we're using this for our overall height of the tool, and that would be the 5.19. Okay, so we're now going to set up something new here. We have our new program in here, so I'm going to put it in there. For now, we'll deal with that next. Alright, now we're going to go in here and back this off, and we're going to slide this in here. We're not going to use the hammer method. We're just going to put it in. And all it really is for pivot. We're going to align this block up and put it on center right here. There we go. Now I pushed it in, and I'm actually probably going to reposition it. So we're going to take our screws, align it on center right about there. This is balsa wood, very easily to screw into. I'm going to go in their flathead screws so they'll line up with the 82-degree hole that we put there on the bottom view. So now we are committed to that position. Little overhang on the left, but we have enough machining boundary in there. where it's important to not design so you're really at the edge of the wood limits, because you'll end up with half a machine car and half the raw wood flat side, which probably is not going to help your design at all. Lash this down. Okay, so now this is firmly in there. We don't really use that to locate, but it's in all the way. This is going to be our locator, which if you look down in here, there are little grooves. Actually, I can't move it far enough. Right there are little grooves cut into this, and this ball screw will line up with that. So we're going to butt this right up against there. We're going to call this our first cut left. Now we got to find our orientation, which I get a feel. That should be our level position. Now that's our orientation, and we're going to tighten these screws up. That fits. And sometimes you may want to turn this sideways to get the low profile, so you don't have any interference or any possible crashes. All right. We've got this sticking out 4 1/4, or if I measure from this direction, it's about 12 inches from here to here. Set up. As far as position, that will nice cubic area, and we've also moved this up so that's about 6 inches up, and then we checked it for level this way, because when you move this it might tilt and you don't want it to be tilted, so you got to be level to the table. I try to match wherever the table is so you're getting the tools are square. Alright, so that's, we decided we're going to run with that position, so I'm going to put my hoses back in. Now I can work in here, take my measuring tool out. Now we're going to, we're homed out right now, going to load our new program in. We have our USB, SPHS, new folder, and we want to use new folder because I added in drill cycles. We're doing left. Okay. Sorry, I want to have the program in the computer, not on the USB, so I have the latest and greatest here. I'm going to actually copy this in my downloads directory, and Techno Run, that's where we were before. SPHS, and paste, new folder. So you notice in here we have config files, NCD files, outrun files. So you want to make sure, right now we do not have a config file. We're going to be running this, and it's going to make its own config and run files. So I've saved all this data. I have it all written down here, just in case. Because sometimes when you flip an update, it'll end up with an old configuration and nothing will line up. And at worst, you may crash. So always out of here, I'm going to save changes. And I need to translate and execute a new program. So I'm in Downloads, davinci, SPHS. I want new folder. Back that up again. And actually, I'm in the wrong directory now. File management, Techno Run. Okay, SPHS, new folder, and there's the dates. 3/9. I did that this morning. 10:20 now, 10 o'clock. So that's my latest one. I'm going to do my left, open. The final config was created with new default settings, right? Which means these settings, notice in here it doesn't match So I need to update that. That's why I need to write this down. And it didn't match my other shift. So I'm going to save the changes now. We can make a new configuration file. I'm going to preview the program again, zoom fit is my program, and I added 2 drill cycles in here just to dimple the holes. Okay, I'm going to bail out of that. I'm going to recheck my setup. Measure twice, cut once. All my numbers are good. Save changes. Now we're ready to start. Okay. Sometimes when you're doing your settings, I'm going to move this around. Okay. You want to do your settings after you've homed it, because if you don't, you may have bad settings. You want to be based on the home position. So if you go in and out while it's not at the home position, this will say 0, and you're going to be basing it on not the true machine 0. Okay. But I have this program run so it goes home first, applies the offsets, and at the end it goes back home again. I'm going to exit jog, and now we're going to start. Start. Moves, it says right there, move to offset position. There you go. Our cutting, and same thing, I'm a little aggressive with the feed rate, so I'm going to crank these down to like 350 and 200-ish. Turn my vacuum cleaner on. Looks pretty good. And I expect, and that should run for a while. So we're at negative 19.171, so our final cuts are going to be at minus 37. That's the Z-depth boundary that we set. Okay, we'll let that run and we'll come back after we've done the project. Thanks again.